Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I have a very disturbing report to share with you. And that is this. Over in Siberia, Russia, there is going to be a real life Hunger Games. No joke. Now, this is called Game to Winter, and it's scheduled to air July of this year. But just to give you a little quick nugget on what this game actually entails, well, the billionaire owner has basically set out a section of Siberia, so many acres of land, in which 30 participants will roam this land in attempts to survive the negative 40 degrees weather. This is some cold, 40 degrees below zero is freezing, and it's also bear infested. But these 30 participants are scheduled to survive this area, and if they survive, well, they earn a little over $1 million. But that's not the only thing that is concerning. But he also said early on, he attempted to make a rule. And what that rule was, and I'm going to quote him word for word, he said, everything is allowed: fighting, alcohol, murder, rape, smoking, anything. Now that rule has since been retracted due to outcry, but that was the original intent. And when he was asked a little bit further if any of that stuff took place, the murder, the rape, or any of that took place while these participants were in the game, that he was specifically asked if he would intervene. Here's what he said: "No, we won't. I am pretty sure there will be fights and more. We're not scared of negative reaction if that happens either." Well, don't take my word for it. Let's go to the actual site together. All right, now before I take you to the actual game website, I wanted to show you this from the SiberianTimes.com. And this is where the owner of the creator of the games made the statement: everything's allowed: fighting, alcohol, murder, rape, smoking, anything. Now, this was put out in December of last year, but he said these are the rules to the new TV reality show, with the quote above: a 9-month Siberian survival test stranded in remote Taigia with bears and wolves in minus 40 degree Celsius weather. Now, right here is the man, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name, but you can see it down below. But he is the brains behind this particular thing. But the organizers boast everything is allowed, including rape and murder. But would-be participants are nevertheless warned, even though all these things are, okay in the game, they're warned that you must understand that the police will come and take you away. We are on the territory of Russia, and we need to obey the laws of Russia. Well, contestants are given a knife, but no guns on the premises there. But then here's the other part. He was further asked, if something were to happen, would you intervene? And he said, we will refuse any claim of the participants, even if they were to be killed or raped. We will have nothing to do with this. This will be spelled out on a document to be signed by the participant before the show even starts. Very, very interesting. But let's go over to the actual game there. It's at www.gametowinter.ru. It's got even a download app and everything. But here you can actually vote on the participants. So you can see there's some crazy people taking place there. I don't even know why people would sign up for this or even be a part of it. It's beyond me. But here is something that you probably recognize from, the Hunger Games. Yes, gifts for participants. What is this? Well, in this entire section, gifts will start appearing. In other words, you and I, just like in the Hunger Games, can buy gifts for who we deem important or who we like as part of the show. So if we think somebody needs something to survive, we can buy it for them. Interesting. But here are some of the rules now. Like I said, he retracted the one rule, anything goes, but he prefaced it with, we won't intervene. Needless to say, here's the votes. This is, you can vote in who you want. Preparation for the forest. It means it's going to be littered with cameras, and they're going to test their mental health, I guess, before they go. Participants can bring to the warehouse, where each team in turn will be able to choose any of the equipment. So they'll have a total weight of 600 kilograms that they can take with them. And then they say, from this point on, cameras, 30 players on the project site. There's going to be cameras everywhere along the way. Life in the forest. Participants will live in the forest as necessary to wish. No one will lay down rules of conduct. Top each day will arrive to the participants and teach them to live in the forest, build a house, get food, make preparations for the winter. Each participant will receive a return of the device. If the participant decides it can no longer remain on the project, he presses a button and the satellite signal transmits his request to the project. Within 60 minutes, so that's an hour, they will be removed. So here's the thing. I guess they're going to construct their homes, get ready, try to survive the winter. If they decide they can't survive, they can basically press this panic button, but it's going to take 60 minutes for them to be removed. Now, please keep in mind, this is a bear-infested area. Participants have knives. We're basically encouraged to murder each other and rape each other, okay? And if there's a 60-minute lag time for them to get there, well, imagine if you're confronted by a bear. Well, I hope you have, I don't know. But that's a scary thought to say, what are you going to do in that 60-minute lag time against that bear? And there are no guns allowed. So you can't shoot the bear, needless to say. The people remaining shall share the prize pool. So whoever remains at the end shares a little over $1 million. And then, of course, he has to add violation of the laws of the Russian Federation because of this disclaimer he made earlier on last year. But for violation of the Russian legislation, participant leaves the project without the right to the prize and is transmitted to law enforcement agencies. So if you quit, you lose everything and you don't get that prize money. But there are the rules. Basically, survive. Yeah, isn't that great? And I believe they even had to pay money to join this thing as well. But here it is, 109 days, 14 hours, and 36 minutes, and then the second counter. So just a couple of months from now, this entire game is set to commence. Tick-tock. Only a matter of time now before we see people murdered, if you will, on TV or killed by a bear. But imagine waiting that 60-minute lag. Hey, a panic button, 60-minute, I'm about to be eaten by a bear. You're just plumb out of luck. It's sick. It's disturbing. Or God forbid, they go after each other, or who knows. It's disturbing. But here's the other thing I didn't tell you. Other reports, and I'll leave links below, news reports talk about, well, they can have sex, they can do this, they can do that. And they really get into details, and they talk about, well, we're not going to intervene if this happens. We're not going to do anything. And they say if there's fights, there's going to be fights. They're not going to intervene. The only time they really intervene is if that panic button is pushed, and then they'll come pick you up, and then you're dropped from the game and you lose all money. End of story for that person, so to speak. But I mean, really, this is about as close to the Hunger Games as you can get. Now, what's the agenda in all of this? Why have that? Well, I think it's obvious that it's just more of the demoralization of the culture. They want to get us so far from family breakdown and break down just our spirits. Let's just degrade the human race, and we're all like a bunch of wild animals trying to survive. And I think that's the idea of what they're trying to portray in this movie. They want to bring humanity down to a lower level and make it as if the elements are stronger, over humanity. And I really think that's what it's all about. Break down the human nature so you don't have families, anymore, but get us so used to the blood, the violence, the fighting that we're just, anything goes. I mean, imagine watching that stuff on television now. If you see some kind of criminal act in the street, it's almost as if it's not really happening. And you kind of feel sometimes as if it's on TV screen, even though it really is happening. So it's just dumbing us down, if you will, or an attempt to take our morality and dumb it down. and make us to where we're immune to seeing things. So if the government wants to do certain things to a culture, hey, let's end the lives of everybody over 40 or 50 because, hey, they're not worth a lick, except for them, obviously. Well, then people would have no thing with to do. Well, it don't matter. They live their life. You see, this is the kind of crap that they can push in the future. I'm not saying they will. I'm just giving you an example, I guess, but it's ultimately bringing the morality down and getting God out of the culture and getting us closer to, well, I guess the very sinful nature of them and the pits of hell, if you will. But it's just a scary thought. Anyhow, leave your comments below. I'd love to hear each and every single one of them and just get your thoughts on this. I think it's disturbing. I think it's sick. I'm not going to watch it, but you're probably going to hear about it. But needless to say, there is a lot of crazy stuff. You know, I'm gonna read probably about some of the things that are going on, and I'll share with you what I find out. But anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest on this. If you like what you heard, please hit that subscribe button and check out my channel. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. This is Lisa Haven signing out.